I'm having lunch with food critic Jay Rayner.
Chips.
Oh, you really did order chips?
Oh, yeah.
The French restaurants he was taken to as a child had got a little pretentious.
We used to go as a family to a place called Stone's Chop House. No longer there. It was owned by the Savoy Group. Was the kind of place where everything had to be set fire to tableside before you could eat it. So, you know, not just the steak Diane or the crepes Suzette, the bread rolls and the napkins too. Very old-fashioned, very classical, very French in its way. And very, very good, but quite stiff. And it became a bit exhausting, is the truth. We wanted, I think Britain had a hunger for something where they could undo their top buttons, and perhaps even the second one. I know, shock, horror.
Timescale, what would that have been? The 70s?
We're definitely talking about the 70s. For me, the key moment when British restaurants changed, it's a very London view, but I still think it's right, is the opening in January 1977 of Joe Allen. Joe Allen was out of New York, a classic Theatreland American brasserie. Red and white tablecloth, almost had an open kitchen. The menus were up on blackboards. But what was really key to it was the service, which was mostly by out-of-work actors, out-of-work dancers, who danced between the tables. It was a very theatrical scene.
I get what Jay is saying, but that sense of theatre and pleasure is just what the first lucky diners of the Savoy got 100 years earlier.
So in a way, this is very much how Escoffier operated at the turn of the 19th century, because he was saying faites simple. He was trying to get great food out to the public. He was breaking barriers. He encouraged women to have lunches and for gentlemen to bring their wives and actually see the restaurant as not just food, but actually as entertainment.
There's no doubt that Escoffier was a revolutionary in his own way, but each generation of chefs builds on what goes before. Escoffier's influence is still felt, even if many chefs would deny it. Often when people in my business are talking about the chefs, we want to know whether they've got their classical chops. Do they know how to do all that stuff before they start putting, you know, the mackerel in the sorbet machine and gluing bits of pig together to turn it into a Ferris reel or something like that? We also want to know, can they make a terrine? Do they know how to clarify a stock? All of those sorts of things. That's pure Escoffier.
So even a skeptic like Jay will admit Escoffier's importance, if pushed.
He started the revolution. He wanted people to come to his restaurants, people to enjoy themselves, make it an occasion. You Brits were all up yourselves and pompous at the time. You didn't understand that. And now the Brits have got that, and it's all down to Escoffier. He was a genius.